Hey, Vinyl community, welcome to another Thursday night roundtable discussion. And for the first time in a long time, we are joined once again by Josh.
Yes.
Josh, welcome back. JC,
thank you.
happy to have you back on our Thursday night discussion. We missed you. I know everybody who watches these videos has missed you also. I'm also joined by Aaron Muth-Alamere, Gary from Physical Format Rock and Roll, and Chris Profi, Musically Obsessed. And we are here tonight, if you haven't guessed already, by some of the swag that we've got on. We're going to be talking about our top 5 Kiss songs from the non-makeup years. So basically, from Lick It Up all the way through the Carnival of Souls record. Asylum is technically a makeup record because they have lipstick on, but we're gonna have it anyway. But yeah, so this, I should really say it's top 5 for Gary, Chris, Josh, and I, and it's top 60 Kiss songs for Aaron. So we're going to indulge him a little bit. So Aaron's going to go through number 60 through number 6, and then we're on right now. all kidding aside. Yeah, when we finish with our 5, we'll let Aaron go through his enormous list. But all right, Aaron, you want to kick us off with your number 5?
Sure. And like I was telling these guys, this is the hardest list I've ever done. I know I said that before, but this is the era of Kiss when I first got into them. And it was like my favorite era, the heavy metal era of Kiss kind of. And so it was extremely hard. Like I said, it would have been hard for me to do a top 5 of each of these albums because I love them all so much. And I actually did make a top 60, but I'm going to go with my number 5 from Kiss Revenge. It's Heart of Chrome. Love Heart of Chrome. I just love how Gene sings with him on the chorus a little, and just the energy of that song. It's just a killer, deep track. First song on side 2 on the record. You know, on the CD, it's right in the middle. But Heart of Chrome has always been one of my very favorite songs of them, and I just love it. And I don't know about you guys, but Heart of Chrome.
That's an awesome song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Am I next?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm going to change it. My number 5 is King of the Mountain. I just think it's a great way to start off that album, start off the Asylum album. Yeah. And yeah, I have I still have my tour book from that tour, which, you know, is a pretty hilarious looking one because, you know, that wasn't exactly their coolest look around that time. I mean, look at this Gene Simmons. That's kind of hilarious. But anyway, back to the song. King of the Mountain starts off with Eric Carr. Eric Carr is one of my favorite drummers. He's I don't know if he's to say he's underrated because I think he's very well loved, but yet you don't hear his name mentioned with a lot of great drummers. And I think he was. I think it was really good because you see how he changed his style when Kiss changed their style of music and he adapted to it. And he does some, you know, all the way back to The Elder, he does pretty cool stuff on there. But anyway, it was just great to get to hear Eric Carr start out that album. You know, a lot of double bass drummers, they annoy me, but he was one that I really liked. I liked the way he played double bass drum. He plays it throughout that song, and it's what drives the song. That's why I'm picking it, really, is because of the drums of that song. I like the rest of it. You know, I love the chorus. You know, Paul sounds really good on the song, but I'm picking that song because of Eric Carr. That's my number 5.
Killer song.
Nice song.
Thanks.
Chris.
Yeah, I wasn't sure of the order. I'm like,
I know.
who's not going to speak? All right. Well, I'm picking a song off of Asylum as well. I'm going Tears Are Falling.
Yeah.
I just have always loved this song. I love the video for it. It's just a song from my childhood. And actually, when I played this song to my kids, they love it as well. And my daughter's like, "Who is this, Dad? Is this Kiss?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "This is another reason why I like Kiss." And those were my daughter's words. So Tears Are Falling. It's a timeless tune. It's I don't know. It's a ballad, but it also rocks as well. And Paul Stanley's vocals are amazing on it. And like you guys are saying, it's a cheesy look for them, album and the pictures and things like that. But it was an album of the times. It was a look of the times, and Tears for Falling fit right into that genre. So,
Yeah.
Number 5.
That was actually my original number 5. And I switched it the last second because I went back and forth on that. You know, one thing I love about that song is Bruce Kulick has a fantastic solo in that song. It's very melodic.
Yeah.
And it just fits in perfectly. Yeah, that's an excellent song. Great choice, Chris. I love it.
And this is nothing against Ace Frehley, because I love Ace Frehley, but I think Bruce Kulick was perfect for the solos in the 80s. Like, I don't know, and again, I love Ace, but I don't know if he would have had the flair to pull off some of these solos, and he was more of a harder edge guitarist, I want to say, for lack of a better word. So I like sort of the flair that Bruce brought to the band. And again,
He definitely fit it.
Ace. I love Ace.
Yeah.
But Bruce definitely had more of an 80s vibe to his playing.
Chris, if we had done honorable mentions, Tears Were Falling was my number 7. So it's a fantastic song. So
Love it.
So my number 5 is also off Revenge, and it is Unholy. It's the first song. What I love about this song was, music was going in a darker direction when this album was released, right? So you could say that the biggest metal acts at that point were Metallica and Megadeth. They both had the Black Album and Countdown to Extinction. So even Kiss recognized that music was going in a heavier direction, but it doesn't sound forced. This sounds like a Gene Simmons song, just like it could have been on Creatures or could have been on Destroyer. It's got that amazing Bruce Kulick guitar lick at the beginning. It's dark. It's great because it fits into the Gene Simmons persona. It's just a fantastic song. It's heavy as fuck. It's awesome. And I'd also like to say, while it's my pick, I have missed you guys incredibly, and I've missed these videos. I love you guys so much. Thanks for waiting for me to come back. So
We've missed you.
thank you. All right, Unholy. Go listen to it.
I know.
I am not near as big a fan of the non-makeup era as you guys are, and so some of my picks are going to be totally oddball. So I'm just going to ask that you indulge me. But my number 5 is going to be off the Hot in the Shade album. I'm going with Cadillac Dreams, which is weird, but it's almost got like a rockabilly sound to it. And I love the fact that it's so off-brand for Kiss in a way, because you don't usually hear them kind of do a song in that style. But I like it. I think it works. It's a fun track. I mean, is there any other Kiss song that's got a car? Okay.
Cadillac Dreams is my number
I feel
10.
better about it then. I'm glad I'm not the only one who.
It's in my top 5.
Well, good. Okay. Well, I'm glad I'm thinking like you guys are going to laugh at me when I say Cadillac Dreams, but I don't know. I like it. It just kind of got a loose feel to it. And I mean, I don't think there's another Kiss song in their catalog that, gives a shout out to a car or a vehicle. So anyway, I like it. And I'm glad you guys do too.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I'll go into it later.
I love Bruce's guitar on that song too.
Yeah, so good.
And I think what's great about that album is I feel like Gene made up for all the times he was missing from Kiss. Like, he just came back with a vengeance on that record. And Cadillac Dreams is a great song. I agree with you, Jeff. I love the rockabilly feel of it.
Well, it's like he took songwriting serious again. It's like, okay, I don't want to be a movie, I'm going to put the movie star aspirations, and
Yep.
celebrity preoccupations aside, and, actually get back to, kind of holding up his end of the songwriting partnership. So.
Well, I think he co-wrote that with Cher and Rod McEwen. Yeah.
And Bruce Springsteen.
That was, yeah.
And Desmond Child. Yeah.
We can assume Desmond Child had a hand in all of these songs.
Clint Eastwood wrote that.
All right,
So my-
Aaron.
All right, Aaron, number 4.
My number 4 is this whole record.
Yeah.
I freaking love this record, but it's so heavy, so killer. But I'm actually going on a weird direction on this. My number 4 is 1,000,000 to 1. I love that song. And you don't know how many times when I was a teenager, listening to that song, there'd be this girl I'd like, and that song just hit home with me so much. It's just, it just is so killer, the lyrics and the emotion and the singing that Paul does in it. And it's just it's like the slowest song on here, but it's my favorite on here, even though I love, every song on this, it's just an amazing, amazing record. But 1,000,000 to 1 is just kind of special to me. It's just, those lyrics are just so amazing. And I'll always stick up for that. So I'll fight anyone that doesn't like it. Not really.
Hey, I like it. I like it.
And this is off musical topic, but that's the last Kiss album artwork that I liked for a while. I think they went through a string of like kind of goofy, just unappealing album covers after that. Animalize, I don't like that cover. I think Asylum's kind of a goofy cover. Hot in the Shade, I'm not crazy about that album cover. Revenge, kind of like, whatever, but I think it's cool. I love that album cover. It's classic Kiss, even though it's not makeup Kiss, but I love the stark white background, Gene Simmons, his tongue hanging down to his navel. And just kind of looking, even, Vinnie Vincent doesn't look like Vinnie Vincent in that picture.
He looks like Vincent Cutano.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Or
But,
Joan Jett. He kind of looks like Joan.
He kind of does right there.
But yeah, they've really good artists do this painting. It's just amazing. Almost looks lifelike.
It does.
Aaron, I thought for sure you were going to pick Young and Wasted.
Well, that's on this list somewhere.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I bet you it's going to be Young and Wasted. I was wrong.
Actually, that is my 3rd from that album.
All right.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Okay. my number 4 is Young and Wasted.
Yeah.
I love
Great.
that song.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like Aaron. Lick It Up is, when I started going through that, I'm like, well, shit, my top 5 are all going to be from this album. And so I kind of had to start going through and changing a few of them. But Young and Wasted, man, that's, Gene was still on fire for this album. His head was still there. He had Vinnie Vincent with him. Really, he was only off track for a couple albums. But Young and Wasted, God, the way he sings that is so awesome. And that down, and I can almost taste it. I can almost taste it. It's just fantastic, man. That is just a kick-ass song from start to finish. And that is, I cranked that when it came out, man. I crank it now as an old man. Young and Wasted, number 4.
Killer choice.
All right. Well, I'm going with the last track off this record, and On the Eighth Day. I know it's a deep cut, but I was listening to it again today. There's this guitar lick in it that Gene doubles with his voice. It's so cool. He sings the same melody as the guitar is doing, and then it just power drives into the chorus, and it's just got this just scream along, sing along chorus. This is a heavy record, and I have a feeling we're going to be picking a lot of songs off of this record, and for good reason. But I'm going with And On the Eighth Day. Love the vocals by Gene on it too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome song.
Love that.
Yeah, mine's is easy. Young and Wasted. Because Gary already talked about it, I will tell you that I thought for sure one of the most hated Kiss songs I really do love is Reason to Live. And it didn't make my top 5, but since Gary already talked about Young and Wasted, which is a better song, I will give shout outs to Reason to Live. I know most Kiss fans hate it, but I really love that song. So
I like it too.
But technically speaking, my choice is Young and Wasted. So
Cool.
All right. Well, it's funny because all of us, our number 4 pick was from the Lick It Up album. Mine is the title track from Lick It Up. It's just a great anthem. It's one of those, songs crank with windows rolled down in the car. Yeah, I mean, it was the title track for a reason. It's just a great, cool Kiss rocker. I've always enjoyed it. The video is a little goofy. But it's still kind of fun to look back and watch it now. Where they're kind of walking through the alleyway and they're all hammed up or whatever, just like preening and it's hysterical to watch now because they're all like down the alleyway, But all that aside, I still think the song's great. So
Yeah.
And you're right. They're trying to look tough. They're like kicking shit and punching. But then at the same time, Paul's putting Gene's makeup on. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Paul's still going.
Yeah.
And that song has one of my favorite lines of any Kiss song. You got to live like you're on vacation. I try to live my life like that.
I love
Man,
I don't want to wait till I know you better. That's my anthem.
Don't want to wait till know you better.
Mine's just Lick It Up.
Lick
it up.
What's funny too is it's like when they wrote that song, they couldn't have made it any simpler. It's just this A chord. Dun, 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 dun. Then they go D, 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 A, D, D. It's just like if you try to play it live, or I don't know, I remember having like a garage band and we were playing that song and it just sounds like dun 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 dun. It doesn't work right. It works for them in the studio, but even when they play it live, they add like a little more guitar to it to kind of liven it up. But studio version, it's great. Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, and sometimes simple works great. Like sometimes simple
Yeah.
are my favorite songs, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right, what are we on? Number 3 now, Aaron?
Okay, number 3. I'm going from this record here.
Wow.
Seduction of the Innocent. Freaking love that song. One of Gene Simmons' best songs. And it's got this really weird sounding beginning. And it has this really killer chorus. It's like, it goes into this really cool chorus. Has a bunch of changes in it where the song changes, like the mood, and it goes back. And I just love Seduction of the Innocent. The lyrics are really good. Gene sings it amazing. And it's a really dark song and has a lot of different moods in it. And I really love that song. And I love this record. The thing about this record, one of my best friends is a huge Kiss fan. Kiss is his favorite band. This is his favorite Kiss record out of any of them. Because it's so heavy and dark. And I see where he's coming from. Listening to this again today, I was like blown away by how good every song on this is. It's just so good. And people didn't give it a chance at the time, but you go back and revisit it now. And this album is so heavy. This might actually be their heaviest record, even heavier than Creatures. It's really good. It's an amazing record. Love it.
What?
Aaron, I listened to that album for the first time in forever yesterday, and I agree with you. It has aged well. That album really has aged well. There's a couple parts here or there that I would be like, but compared to my first time I heard it, it's like a huge difference. And you're right, that song kicks ass. And there's at least, for me, I will tell you, like, it made a sonic jump up in my list if I were to rank my Kiss albums today. Because like you said, songs that I probably dismissed, definitely I felt like I connected more with, just one or two parts. And I'm like, that sounds a little bit too much like Alice in Chains, but
Yeah.
It's minuscule.
The thing is, it's kind of a more mature. If they're not really singing about the same stuff, it's more mature, and it's
Right.
kind of, just, and that's what I like about it too. It's not like I went back and I was listening to like stuff like "Dance All Over Your Face." And I'm like, I love this song, but the lyrics just didn't hold up as well. And then you listen to the lyrics, and they're really good. The lyrics are like meaningful and really like just a lot better.
I agree.
Does Paul
Because I love that song.
sing that song off of Carnival?
No, that's Gene. It's Gene.
Okay. What I was going to say though is, and I'm going to talk about Paul here for a second, even though you picked a Gene song. That's what's great about Kiss, though. I mean, Paul and Gene as well, but Paul could really write anything. Like if you think back to the song "Hard Luck Woman," that was originally written for Rod Stewart, and Stanley wrote it in the vein of a Rod Stewart tune. And then they go and write a disco song. Paul's like, I can write a disco song. I was made for loving you. And then Carnival of Souls, it's like Paul and Gene both probably said, listen, we can do this whole grunge thing. And they did it. So that was what was cool about Kiss, is they could write pretty much any style of music.
Yeah, Paul's an amazing writer. Just amazing.
Yeah.
So
Well, that album cover is they took that photograph right after Gene and Paul told Bruce and Eric that Gene's kind of there all sheepish with his guitar turned upside down. Guys, you know how we did that Unplugged special and when Ace and Peter came on? Paul, you want to tell them? Yeah, well, I don't think we're gonna need you guys anymore. So why don't you just pack up your shit and get out of here?
We're gonna go make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
And we'll release this new album kind of like with no fanfare or anything. We'll just kind of throw it out as an afterthought.
Yeah. Okay, take the picture now. Yeah.
That's why everybody's like,
Yeah, they're all kind of looking like miserable and
well, I will say, originally when that album was out and I was listening to it, I mean, I liked it, but there were aspects of it that felt very forced to me, I mean, like they were obviously, like Chris said, I mean, okay, well, now we're going to write our grunge album, here's how we do it. And even the recordings, they slowed some of those songs down. So they would sound that way when they put it on record. But going back and listening to it now, I agree with you, Josh, that it has aged well. And when you talk about Gene's songs on there, I think, in my mind, there's a big step up for Gene. I like it when Gene does like kind of serious things sometimes, because, he Unholy was really cool. But all the rest of his songs on Revenge, I mean, they're kind of goofy in a way. Lyrically, it was like some of those lyrics on Revenge are embarrassing almost. They're so goofy. But, when they came and did Carnival of Souls, all those lyrics and stuff that Gene was writing and the music to go with it is really, you use the word mature, and it's kind of like, we were just talking about Paul, how good of a songwriter he is. When Gene wants to be, he can. Yeah, Gene can just throw out any shit, and say, oh, here's a song, but he can also, if he puts his mind to it, he can write some really cool stuff. He did on Psycho Circus too. I think all his songs on there are that way, but definitely on Carnival of Souls. So
We can't talk about Psycho Circus though, because they're wearing makeup.
I know. Of course,
I almost made that mistake.
third
we
stage.
could have said, yeah, they never wore makeup in the recording studio.
That's true.
We could do something there then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, on to my actual pick. From number 3, I went from Animal Eyes, and I went for the opening track of I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. Kiss had this thing for a while there, all their opening tracks be these real fast, kick-ass songs. And I love that. Man, that is, during this time period, was like the the golden age of Paul Stanley's vocals. You know, I realize there's a lot of, you know, double and triple tracking going on and shit, but man, you know, they could never do a lot of these songs now. His vocals on these albums sometimes are just amazing, and this is another example of it. This is a heavy metal song. I've had enough. Into the fire, nothing and no one will stand in my way. It's great. It's also kind of like, you know, one of those songs that Kiss likes to write of, you know, believe in yourself and don't let anybody tell you what to do and that kind of stuff. That's what this song is. And I just think it's a great opening track to, you know, I don't think the rest of the album is nearly as consistent, but man, it starts off with a bang with I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. So that's my number 3 pick.
Nice one.
Great choice.
Thank you.
Well, you guys know me. I'm a sucker for a love song. I'm also can be real sappy at times. So I might lose some subscribers here. I do every time, but my number 3 is Every Time I Look at You.
Yes.
I love this
Aaron
song.
likes that.
I probably like the version on Unplugged a little bit better. It's a great love song, and Paul sings the hell out of it. I love the meaning behind it, and you know, it's track 9 on Revenge, and like we've said, Revenge is a heavy record, and then they pull out the power ballad, but and everybody had a power ballad, but I don't know if that was that. I don't think it was much of a hit for Kiss, though. Did they release it as a single?
They did, but
They did, yeah.
it wasn't a huge hit.
It should have been.
Oh, yes.
But I was just listening to it today, and I'm like, yeah, damn, this is a good song. And again, I like sappy love songs, and it is sort of sappy, but it's got some power behind it too. And like I said, the acoustic version on Unplugged is killer as well.
Yeah. I think the only reason it wasn't a hit was because, you know, Kiss throughout this time period, for the most part, they're usually following trends as opposed to starting them. And so like Revenge, they were just a step too late. You know, I mean, if they would have released that album a year or two earlier, that song would have been a big hit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Forever was a big hit, and that was very similar. But you know, I agree with you, Chris. First off, the Unplugged version is better, and the Unplugged was such a joy. Like, to me, that is the pinnacle of the non-makeup years. And I'm not saying that because Ace and Peter come back, even though that was fantastic. But the whole thing, the energy, it's like I can't hear that album without smiling. Like, I get like the hair stands up just thinking about, you know, watching it on television for the first time. They're playing Coming Home and all these songs that we hadn't heard live in years. And every time I look at you, I think Paul does such a great job on that Unplugged. Unbelievable.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I just watched Paul do an interview the other day about how they come up with Kiss's set list. And we all know Kiss plays a lot of the same songs all the time. And someone's like, well, why aren't you playing rarities? And he's like, well, there's a reason that they're rarities. Nobody wants to hear them. But that's bullshit, because like you just said, Josh, on this Unplugged album, Coming Home, Plaster Caster, Going Blind, A World Without Heroes, Secret Night. Like, those are songs that they don't, nothing to lose. Well, did they still? I think they probably do Nothing to Lose still. But they should play more deep cuts. They're good songs.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I agree with that statement 100%, man. That is one of the things. I love Kiss, but that's one of the things that pissed me off about them once they put the makeup back on is, you know, that whole statement right there. Paul Stanley always saying that, you know, well, nobody wants to hear that. Just a handful of people. You know who wants to hear it? All these 5 motherfuckers right here. They all want to hear that songs.
Well,
the people that are
reason,
the big Kiss fans, the guys that have bought all of the albums, you know, who have some of the Kiss toys and different things like that. It's like, those are the people that want to hear it. Those are the people you need to play some of those songs for.
Yeah.
You know, Alice Cooper always does. The Rolling Stones do. They have a small segment in the show where they play, you know, okay, we're gonna give you 4 songs that are, you don't know where they're gonna come from. You know, Alice Cooper always does that. Yeah, he's gonna play Schools Out and 18 and that kind of stuff, but he is gonna pick something you don't know what era it's gonna be from. He's gonna pick a few songs like that. And the fact that Kiss does not do that is an insult to their hardcore fans. I don't care what Paul Stanley says.
And you want to know the real reason? They don't want to learn new songs. I bet you that is part of
Laziness.
Yeah, they're like, no, because being a musician myself, like going back and probably playing the song Coming Home, they would have to really work on that quite a bit to learn it again. And I'm sure they don't want to put the time in.
Yeah, that's why, just like you guys, you know, Josh is saying, man, that Unplugged album when they played that, watch it on MTV, here they were digging all those songs out you guys just said and doing them acoustically and doing a hell of a job of it. Bruce Kulick is fantastic on that record, doing all those solos acoustic and stuff. And you're like, wow, these are really good songs that hold up without even all the distortion and stuff. And you know, oh my God, they're doing Plaster Caster. How amazing. Going Blind. It was fantastic.
Yep.
I wore my VCR tape out of that. I don't even know what happened to it because I played it so much. I watched that over and over, drinking beers, and just, it was just so exciting seeing that.
Aaron, we used to, like, my friend Eric, we used to party at his house and we would watch Kiss Confidential, Kiss Unplugged. It was like after we went out to the bars and everything, we just come home. We'd be up to like 4 a.m. watching those Kiss concerts.
This Exposed was a big one for me.
Exactly. It was
that was a good one. That was a funny one.
All right. So my next pick, Gary already said, me and Gary have very similar tastes. King of the Mountain. What I love about this song is, first off, Bruce Kulick arrives. You know, I know he did the tour before this, right? But Mark St. John was barely in the band. But Bruce Kulick arrives and he just shreds on that song. And I would love to hear, like, you know how Neil Young will do these impromptu 20-minute versions of songs where people are just shredding? I would love to hear like an extended version of King of the Mountain because it just shreds. And Bruce Kulick is so good. And not to mention Eric Carr is just fantastic. Just an amazing song, amazing album. I wish they had a different album cover, but I've grown to accept it. That's it. So King of the Mountain.
Cool.
Nice.
I'm glad you mentioned Bruce Kulick on that song because I don't think I did. Yeah, he is great on that song.
Yeah. Do you know that he was the guitarist on Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell tour?
Yep, I did know that. What's funny is when I saw the Animalized tour, you know, it wasn't announced yet. It was like he had just joined the band. It was during that stage where Mark St. John was like, you know, fading out and Bruce would be there ready. Because I remember, you know, I don't know. I mean, I was drinking and stuff during that show, but I remember like about halfway through the show, I'm like, who is that on guitar? I'm like, I don't think that's that same guy that's on the cover. That's not that Mark St. John guy. I had no idea who it was until, you know, I think Paul announced it at some point. But
All right, my number 3 is a song we've already talked about. A World Without Heroes, the unplugged version. Just kidding. I'm gonna go, and again, you know, I don't know, maybe you guys will make fun of me for this one, but I'm going with God Gave Rock and Roll to You too.
Great song.
From the Revenge album. It's just something super catchy about it. Yeah, it's kind of got one of those oi choruses, and it's you know, maybe a little bit cheesy, but I don't know, I like it. It sticks with me. It's just it's got a great hook to it, and you know, I'm not ashamed to say I think it's a great track and one of my favorites.
Jeff, my friend Rob, that's his favorite Kiss song, any era. So you're not
No
alone.
kidding. Wow.
Yeah, any era. And he loves all eras of Kiss. Shocked
Mhm.
the hell out of me when he told me, but it's a catchy song.
Yeah, well, it's just, you know, they can write as catchy a song as any other band, you know, when they set out to do it. And I think that's proof positive right there. I just love the, you know, that whole, the whole chorus. I mean, that makes the, you know, obviously it makes the song, but I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
It is.
it's kind of that song is, I don't know, I like it, I really like it, but it's kind of heartbreaking because of, you know, that video, that's the last thing that Eric Carr did with him. He was already sick with cancer. I mean, he basically came out of the hospital because he wanted to be in that video. I think that's Eric Singer playing drums on the song, but Eric Carr
vocals on it though. And the breakdown
Yeah.
part, Eric Carr,
Yeah.
that's he ever did was the
yeah,
vocals on
that's Paul and Eric doing those. That yeah, you're right, where it stops and God gave rock and roll. You know, Eric Carr is a very good singer, and he is doing that. And just to think that that's the last thing that he did with the band is that parts of that song, the video and the chorus singing. You know, so it always, you know, when I hear that, it makes me think that too.
That's actually an Argent song. It's a cover
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
But
Same
they
band
mixed
that
it up
sings.
bit, you know, changed it around and kissified it.
There you
That's why I
go.
got the two. It's like the sequel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like Unforgiven from Metallica.
Yeah.
1, 2,
What are they up to? 4 now?
you're up to 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are
So
you
what's-
unforgiven too? Yeah.
We got to get the James Hetfield voice.
That's what well, for our next video, I want to do, and I know this is totally off Kiss topic, but I want to do 5 songs we want to hear Chris do a James Hetfield impression on.
There you
Yes.
go.
Just goes around and Chris has to do like, you know, a couple lines from that song in his James Hetfield voice.
Did you say I have to do a couple lines?
Yeah.
Yes, to get yourself ready.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, let's do this. Sorry.
All right.
All right.
Number 2.
So
Looking
you know,
forward to
I
this.
went with a single. It's just I got all drunk on Tuesday and I was listening to all these records, and this song made the hairs on my arms all stand up, and I was just like, oh my god, I just, you know, I love it. I've always loved this song, but it's from Asylum, and Asylum to me is one of my very favorite records. I seriously could have picked any song off this because I love it so much. I think it's just an amazing, amazing record. But I'm going with "Who Wants to Be Lonely," and that
Yeah.
song is just so catchy, and it just the verses of it are so good. And then when he goes into that chorus, it's just it brings me back to the mid '80s every time I hear it. And I think that should have been a bigger hit than it was even. And I still remember seeing that video, and you know, the goofy video, of course, but I liked it when it was out. But it's just such a great song. And you know, they never put that on any of their best of albums or anything like that. But it was a you know, it did pretty good. It was a, you know, a minor hit, I guess. But I just love "Who Wants to Be Lonely." You know, like I said, I could have put any song from this though, because I love this album so much. But going back, that's all these 5 that I picked are the ones where I was listening to them when I was drinking, all the hairs on my arms were sticking up. That's why I put them as my top 5, because this list was so hard for me because I love every one of these songs so much. But "Who Wants to Be Lonely," it's just, I don't know what it is about it. It just, when I think Kiss in the 80s, that's one of the first things I think is that song.
That's another one that was co-written by Desmond Child.
Yeah.
And it is great. And I did read something that even though Kiss was being played on MTV, they were not being played on the radio for most parts of the country. And that is what really hurt them.
Yep.
MTV always had Kiss's back, but radio had dismissed them. And some of these songs, if they'd been played on radio, they would have been huge hits.
Yeah.
So,
It was because of Rolling Stone magazine. I blame it on them because their hatred of Kiss.
yeah. Fuck Rolling Stone. Not the band.
But they're good, but I mean, they've always had this thing
Yeah.
with Kiss. I don't know what it is, but
I love
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen. You guys know I love Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen, though, he could piss on tape and they'd be like, this is an instant classic. You know what I mean? They love everything Bruce has ever done. And
You're right.
that's a really good
Kiss can't-
flashback effect. If you hear it on the surround sound.
That's an excellent pick, Aaron. I'm glad you picked that. See, that's one of the cool things about narrowing this down is that, I thought, actually, I'm surprised that we've had as many of the same songs as we had, because I thought, if we just had 5, we'd be all different. But I think Who Wants to Be Lonely, I had to fight not to put that on my list. That and Tears Are Falling, to me, are very similar songs.
They're both-
Paul has a great vocal to them. They're very dramatic sound. They sound like they could have been on Unmasked, because they kind of have a poppy kind of feel to them in a way, I think. I love those songs, man. I love the way Paul just sounds on this song. They're just great 80s songs. I love it.
No, tears
are falling.
But the emotion in his voice on Who Wants to Be Lonely in those verses what gets me. It's just, you feel it when he's singing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
Who
agree.
you look at standing there in your own world, it's just-
Yes.
so good.
His vocal, his delivery on that song is perfect. It is great. And the hair standing on your arm, I get that. That's a good analogy there. And that goes right with my number 2, because it's the same thing to me. And you've already talked about it fairly extensively, Aaron. And that's A Million to One.
Yeah.
This is Paul Stanley at his vocal height here. This song is just beautifully written and sung. It is so powerful and dramatic sounding to me, man. This is just, another one of these kind of over the top songs that Paul is singing. And, some people could look at it as cheesy, but man, I don't. I just think it is super dramatic. It's not a heavy song, but it is at the same time. And, when he goes 1,000,000 to 1 and he holds that note, oh man, that is so badass. And like you said, the way he's saying, okay, you're going to leave me. This girl's going to leave me, but man, you are never going to find somebody better than me. You can go ahead, do what you think you're going to do, but forget it. And it's just kind of a good kiss off kind of song. And, he's obviously hurt. His feelings are hurt. It's his pride that's hurt. So, he's telling this woman, it's 1,000,000 to 1. You're going to find somebody who's going to love you like I did. Just a great song off of a fantastic album, 1,000,000 to 1. Number 2.
Well, my number 2 should be the theme song for Viagra. I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna rise to it.
I thought you were going to do You Make Your Rock Hard.
Yeah,
That's what I thought he was going to say too.
exactly.
What song?
You Make Me Rock Hard.
Oh, that would be a good one too. No, I've always loved the song Rise to It. It's sort of got a southern, like bluesy feel to it. And they were kind of tapping into that bluesy thing for this record. And just have always liked that song. So it's my number 2.
Kind of Cinderella-ish.
Yeah, like it could have been off of Heartbreak Station.
Killer.
Cool. It's not as cool as 1,000,000 to 1, but
No, it's pretty good.
It's
a cool
still
tune.
pretty damn cool.
It's a cool song though.
So my number 2 is also up Hot in the Shade. I got the hype sticker there. And first up, I need to credit Aaron, because Aaron, like I always said this album was bloated. I was probably a lot like Gary, where like I liked some of the songs, but kind of dismissed some of the songs where I know, when it came out, people had mixed reviews on it. But the more I listen to it, the more I love it. And my number 2 is actually 2 songs that go back to back, and that's Silver Spoon and Cadillac Dreams. So I love that Paul sings Silver Spoon. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. And then you got Gene Simmons talking about wanting to be rich and his Cadillac Dreams, right? So just the, I don't know, just the push and pull of those two personalities. Go listen to the song Boomerang, though. It's so Van Halen, so early 80s, David Lee Roth era Van Halen. This album really kicks ass. There's maybe 1 or 2 songs that I would take off to make it a little bit shorter. But like Chris just said with Rise to It, it's just fantastic. But those 2 songs, Silver Spoon and Cadillac Dreams are my number 2 choice. I count it as one song.
Nice. Last song on the first side and first song on the second.
So
All right.
they're still back to back.
On the CD, they flow into each other.
If you have the CD, there's no flipping of a record needed.
Yep.
All right, my number 2, we've already talked about it. Tears Are Falling off Asylum. Great track. I think this was on my top 10 when we did our original Kiss top 10.
It was on all of our.
Yeah, whatever that was. So I'm sticking by it. And that's my number 2.
Nice.
Great song. I love
Yeah.
how Bruce Kulick does that in the video where he's doing the guitar, doing this, and he flips over and then flips back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a guitarist, so I just kind of make it there. But yeah, I was like, how does he do that? Not realizing when I was younger that it's a video and they're not really playing while he's doing that. I was like, I got to see that live to see if he really does that.
All right, now we're at
One.
one.
Oh, is it
You,
me?
Aaron.
So my number 1 is this whole record. I freaking love this record. It's maybe my favorite out of all these, and that's saying something because you got Asylum and Lick It Up and in the mix. But I love this record, and my favorite song, I'm going with "You Love Me to Hate You," and that song has this weird. Paul Stanley sings it a little bit differently at the beginning. You're like, "What is this? I've never heard this before from Kiss," and then it kind of builds, and then the lyrics kind of build, the emotion builds, and then it builds, and then it goes into the chorus. And then it builds a little after the chorus even. And I just love it. It's so catchy, and the lyrics are great. And You Tell Lies When You Look at Me. I just love that song. You Love Me to Hate You. Seriously, I could have picked about 10 songs from this record. It's my number 1 though. I love this album. But I had to limit it to 5. You guys are killing me here. Because I definitely would have had a few others on here. But yeah, You Love Me to Hate You. Go back and listen to that song. You'll see what I mean by the vocals, where it just kind of builds and builds and builds and builds, and then it comes back and does it again. Kind of like Child in Time, where it kind of builds and builds, and then it reaches a crescendo and then goes back, starts building again. Nothing like that song, but just that kind of thing where lyrically and how he sings it. And I just love it. And this was just such an amazing, amazing lineup they had. Eric Carr and Bruce Kulick, 2 of the most underrated musicians of the 80s, and just love it. So I guarantee no one else will have that as a number 1. I'll be surprised if you guys do.
Actually was my number 1, but you know.
Oh,
Yeah. Now I'm changing it.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's awesome. My number 1 is kind of I don't know. It's not really much of a thinking man song, but it's off of Lick It Up, and it's Not for the Innocent. I just dig that song, you know. The whole, you better lock up your daughters because we're coming to your town. It's like,
better pray we're not around.
Yeah.
you know, how old was Gene already when he wrote this? But he has lines like that, but just that whole chorus, you know, we're not for the innocent, you know. Yeah. And he gets really high on his vocals in that song. And it's just such a heavy, badass song. I don't really, you know, there's not any much more to say about it besides that. I just love the way it sounds.
I think what's
Amazing.
cool about that song was that, and I don't know, I must have read this somewhere, but by that point, before Lick It Up, Kiss had become almost like this family affair. Like parents were bringing their kids to Kiss. It was almost like a circus almost, because you think like Unmasked was very poppy, and then The Elder. So I think Not for the Innocent was sort of like Gene saying, listen, we're still a hard rock band. And, you know, you can take your kids to see us, but I can't guarantee what you're going to see because we're going to kick your ass. So I think that had a little bit more meaning behind it too.
Yeah, you're probably right. And they were very, starting with Creatures of the Night, Kiss became, you know, a little more calculated in their concerts as far as like Paul Stanley, because, you know, when you listen to all his 1970s raps, you know, when he talks on stage, he doesn't really cuss a whole lot.
Yeah.
But like starting with Creatures of the Night, and, you know, for quite a few albums there, he was like cussing a lot, you know, dropping F-bombs and everything to kind of make themselves like, yeah, you know, exactly what you're saying, Chris. We're not for kids anymore, you know, come on, guys, you know, because when Dynasty came out, that was kind of when it seemed like a lot of kids started coming to the shows, and that's kind of what killed them. Because like I remember, like, you know, like by the time I was in high school, you know, you tell somebody you like Kiss, and they're like, you know, Kiss is stupid, you know. they didn't like him anymore. I always still did, but they just weren't very popular anymore, and they really had to rebuild it, and that was part of it. You're right. Songs like that, they had to change their image, you know, get back to, you know, they talk about, you know, just being more vulgar on stage to try to, you know, get teenagers to come back to them as opposed to 12-year-olds.
Right.
Well, it's always interesting to me that they were considered, you know, family friendly or whatever. There were, you know, families or, you know, 12-year-olds coming to their concerts, because even though they look like superheroes, they're still talking about banging groupies and, you know, making plaster replicas of your dick, you know. You know, whatever. If you want to take your kids to, you know,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't like they had all of a sudden started, you know, singing about, you know, lightweight material. I mean, yeah, they sang, you know, had some love songs, but I don't think their, you know, material was necessarily, you know, watered down or toned down, you know, so much. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the makeup era. But I digress.
All right. Well, my number one is off of an album that I don't think a lot of us have talked about tonight. And it's off of Crazy Nights. And I'm going with the title track. These are crazy, 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 crazy
nights.
Just a great, just rock and roll song that Kiss does perfectly. You know, it's just anthemic. It's awesome. I've always loved it. This could be the album that really got me into Kiss, and then I moved backwards from there. But I don't know if any of us have had anything in the top 5 from Crazy Nights.
No, I
Yeah.
mentioned Reason to Live, but
Okay.
it
Oh,
didn't make the cut.
But yeah, I'm going with the title track, Crazy Crazy Nights.
Another thing people don't realize is that Star Wars Episode 9, before they came up with the title The Rise of Skywalker, it was going to be called Crazy Nights.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense.
So random.
And everyone all
Yeah,
shattered.
I want all this useless trivia in my head rolling around up here, but you know, talk about that album. I'll Fight Hell to Hold You was that was on my honorable mention.
Yeah, I like that song quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell or
Reason to
High
Live is
Water.
good.
Yeah.
Turn on the Night is good too.
Yeah.
It's great. The whole thing's great.
Yeah.
Hell or High
It's
Water.
super catchy.
Yeah. Well, Crazy Nights was probably their biggest anthem type song since Rock and Roll All Night.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't near the big a hit, but it's definitely has that kind of sound. I mean, it's all about the chorus on that thing.
I mean, that's one of those songs. It's Friday night and you're cracking some beers. You throw that on the turntable, you turn that up, like you're going to be sucking down 3, 4, 5, 6 beers, right, Aaron?
Oh yeah, minimum.
These are crazy, 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 crazy.
I just whipped her before.
Meanwhile, you've got like 5 beers open. You're like, shit, which one do I drink first? Because the chorus is just that big.
You drink them all at once.
It just makes you want to crack beers, pound beers. You're going to start shotgunning beers.
That was really good lyrics. I like Crazy Nights a lot.
I do. And
Crazy-
Crazy Nights was a huge hit in other countries, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Like the song that they still play to this day in other countries. All right, so my number one, probably some people are gonna think, how the hell could you pick this as your number one? But it's a song, like Aaron said, where the hair stands on your back. I just love the bass line. I love the lyrics. I love everything about it. It's
Shandy?
Domino by Kiss on Revenge. I love the song. I know it's goofy. I know it's about underage sex or whatever. You know, but I just love it. I love the song.
I've loved it ever since Nasty Nasty.
Kiss has a lot of songs that are inappropriate, and Domino is one of them. And I love that. I just love everything about it. Like, got no reputation, hasn't got a home. It's a sticky situation when she ain't old enough to vote.
Oh.
Eating a cheeseburger.
Exactly. Love lots of money, backs against the
I
wall.
think our next episode should be our top 5 songs about underage sex. We could have Tomboy. We could have Depeche Mode, A Question of Time.
She's only 17.
She's only
Yeah.
17.
Well, no,
Christine 16.
Christine's 16. Yeah.
Just to see, yeah,
But
Kiss
that
has a
thing
legacy.
is there's a song by Black and Blue, Tommy Thayer, called
Yeah.
Nasty Nasty. The exact same riff.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs ever, Nasty Nasty is. So when I heard Domino, I was like, oh, it's Nasty Nasty. What's going on here? But I love both of them. Domino's a great song.
Aren't you going to say the line from there, Josh?
Yeah, she's got me by the ball.
What about when the music stops? They go ding 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 ding. Every damn time.
I walked through that same day door. Same, that bitch bends over, and I forget my name.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is this is way too private. I'll tell you this story when the video's done.
Well, you know, you
Ask
talk
me the
about
Domino story, guys, when the video is done.
that. The lyrics to that are super cheesy, but are they as cheesy as "Take It Off"? Off of that.
What about Spit?
Probably not.
Or what about or Read My Body?
Yeah, read my body.
That sounds like a Samantha Fox song.
Or Forever. I mean, come on. Michael Bolton threw cheese all over that song.
Read
That's
My
a
Body.
great song, Chris. I love Forever.
Oh, I love it too. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it'll probably be my wedding song if I get married again. You know, I'm just saying. Or maybe
Actually-
Take It Off might be.
Top 6. It's my top 70.
I'm gonna do Not for the Innocent.
Yeah.
Actually, no, my song is going to be I Just Wanna. I Just Wanna.
Oops.
We'd like
That's
to
a great
welcome
song.
Mr. Trophy out, and their song is Lick It Up by Kiss.
Whoa, yeah. Okay.
Wait till you know me better.
My number one is a song that I feel like this song to me sounds like an outtake from Def Leppard's Hysteria album. I'm going with Paralyzed.
Nice.
Just it sounds to me like, you know, 1987 era Def Leppard, you know, with the It's All Right chorus. But you know, I could really I don't know. I could hear Def Leppard doing a cover of this song and doing it great. That's just how it feels to me. But I like it. I think it's got a kick-ass riff. I think it's heavy. I think it's catchy. And yeah, I love the chorus. And that's my number one.
Nice.
Nice.
I like it.
Good one.
All right. Well, Aaron, you want to go through your honorable mentions real quick?
I'll just do some of them. I won't do the whole 60. That's we might be here another hour. But from number 6, I had Tears Are Falling. At number 7, I had Love's a Slap in the Face from Hot in the Shade, Killer Jean song. Number 8, Every Time I Look at You. It was really hard. I was flipping that and A Million to One back and forth in my list for my top 2 ballads of theirs. Number 9, have Get All You Can Take from Animalize. Love that song. And number 10, I had Not for the Innocent. Great song. Number 11, Young and Wasted. Number 12, Secretly Cruel from Asylum. Number 13 was Under the Gun. 14, Master and Slave. 15, Hide Your Heart.
How high are we going?
Huh?
How high are we going?
I'm just gonna go to 30. No, it's 20. Then I had Lonely as a Hunter as my number. 16 was Betrayed. 17, Lonely as a Hunter. 18, Trial by Fire. 19 was Excited. And at number 20, I had Childhood's End from Carnival of Souls.
Yeah.
And I have 40 to go, but I'll just end it there.
You can leave it in the comment section. How about that?
Yeah. I'll let you do 100 because I could do 100. So I like them all.
I just want to mention one honorable mention, and that is the song "I Will Be There." I
Yes.
just think that's a wonderfully done song. It's about a father talking to his son, and so I have 2 sons. Every time I hear that song, I just think it's an emotional song. So I love that one. There you go.
That is a great one.
It's on my list.
And he said Childhood's End. That was one of my other ones too. I love that song. That's great.
My shout out is Kiss Unplugged.
That's a great find.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks. I'm so glad JC could be with us this time. And I hope he'll be with us again real soon. Thanks, everybody, for watching. If you've got a list different from ours, leave it in the comments section. All right, everybody.